Let me guess, you've had that moment. You're sitting in your car, you might have just got off work, or maybe it's a chill Saturday evening. You're in the mood to listen to some good classic country music the way they used to make it to accompany you on your drive. You turn on the radio. Oh wait, let me guess. It's a quote-unquote country song with lyrics that only talk about basic country stereotypes like girls, trucks, and beer with basic snap tracks and pop beats. Guys, we don't have to endure this any longer. If you're looking for some real country artists today to give you that feeling you've been craving, start here. I want this video to be for the person who's just getting into country music, but also for the person who's been frustrated with mainstream country radio to this day. Now let's just face it, most of it isn't true country. At its core, country music is about storytelling, incorporating real instruments like the guitar, banjo, fiddle, mandolin, and steel guitar, and so many more. It's rooted in rural America with the working class as its backbone. You often hear simple but memorable melodies that get stuck in your head, and honestly, country music is a way of life for some people. There's been so many legends in the space, from Willie to Waylon, from Johnny to Dolly, from George's to John's, from Hank's to Randy's. We could go on, but it would take forever to list them all. The blueprint has been laid for the next wave of musicians to carry on its legacy. There are so many great music artists that are doing it right nowadays that I couldn't possibly list everyone. So we're going to lay some ground rules. First, disclaimer, not all artists that are played on country radio today are bad. I actually like a few of them, so let's just get that straight. Secondly, the artists that I'm about to name are some of the ones that I first got into when I got introduced to the genre, who are killing it right now. So here are the categories we'll go by. 2 Appalachian artists, a Canadian artist, 2 Texas artists, and a wildcard artist we'll save for the end. Remember, this is a starting point. There are so many different artists that I recommend today that I couldn't list them all. So if I didn't mention your favorite artists, don't get mad, but put them in the comments below so other people can check them out. And lastly, I'd appreciate it if you can give this video a like, just so we can tell country radio that we want real country being played today. So let's get into it. On our first pit stop, we're heading to Saskatchewan, Canada, and saying hello to Colter Wall, the Plains to Sea plainsman and cowboy himself, who shocked those who listened as he began to sing his first few words, taking the outlaw country scene to a whole nother level.
Well, Reverend, please come quick, 'cause I got something to admit.
Let's be honest, we first notice right off the bat with Colter is his deep, mysterious voice that puts you in a trance as you listen. But why does this work in his favor? Because it allows you to hear storytelling in each of his songs. It rather makes you focus on the lyrics, not just the music. In lots of his performances and even his albums, there's lots of bare-bone instrumentation with mostly his guitar, kick drum, and some steel. From spine-chilling stories to murder ballads and old-school cowboy tunes, Colter has it all.
Don't you know the devil wears a suit and tie? Saw him driving down the 61 in early July. Wide as the cotton field and sharp as a knife.
In this particular track, The Devil Wears a Suit and Tie, it comes from a story in American folklore where Robert Johnson, an American Delta blues musician and songwriter, sells his soul to the devil in order to learn how to play guitar and be successful. In the song, Colter builds upon the idea that the devil wears a suit and tie, whether it be big corporations in the music industry or just greedy businessmen. His voice just rumbles in this one, and it was really the springboard for him getting his first initial attention in the scene. Another example of great storytelling is his murder ballad, Kate McCannon, another bare-bones track filled with emotion and delivered with boldness.
The raven is a wicked bird, his wings are black as sin.
I play that song, Kate McCannon, and I tell people this guy was 21 when he sang that.
A cowboy from 1860.
A little backstory to the tune, Kate McCannon is the lover that he sings about in the song, as he tells a story from his jail cell. He sings that she was the prettiest girl in the holler, and he goes courting her. He works hard to save some money so they can get married, but ultimately, the relationship ends when he finds Kate at the creek with some other lover. And we know what happens next.
And I put 3 rounds into Kate McCannon.
Some people might not find that murder ballads are their thing, but why do you think people like to watch murder and crime shows on TVs and podcasts? It has a similar effect on people in music, and with Colter's voice, it just adds to the level of cryptic storytelling to the song, which makes it one of the most memorable in his catalog. Jumping onto the cowboy side of his music, he's covered many old school western songs like Big Iron, Fraulein, and Cowpoke, and so many more. To me, Cowpoke is the central western song. I feel like I should be laying around a campfire in Montana while I look up at the starry night sky above me. It just hits the part of me where it longs for the adventure and outdoors.
I'm lonesome but happy, rich but I'm broke, and the good Lord knows the reason. I'm just a cowpoke.
Before we go to our next artist, we have to mention his song Sleeping on the Blacktop. And honestly, I could see this playing in the background of a Ford F-150 commercial.
Hey darling, sleeping on the blacktop. Hey darling, running through the trees, honey. Hey darling, leaving for the next town. Listen, my sense catches up with me.
To this date, it has almost 150 million streams on Spotify, being his most popular song. If you're a new listener to Colter, this is where I would start and work your way from there. Next, we're heading straight to the south in the heart of Texas for our next act, the band Midland.
It's a hard-living, tail-kicking.
Midland is a three-piece that I would put under the neo-traditional country category. They are a modern-day band but have their roots in the traditional aspects of country music. Some of their songs can sound like you're back in the 90s in a honky-tonk bar, dancing the night away in songs like Make a Little, Mr. Lonely, and Two to Two Step.
We got debutantes in the social lives and mamas from the PTA.
While other songs feel like they almost have elements of 70s country rock in songs like Cheating by the Rules, Put the Hurt on Me, and 14 Gears.
Without Peter Bell Wine, on the solid line.
Also, their style is definitely giving me that 70s vintage vibe in a lot of their music videos. From the way they dress, the way they sing, they definitely fit the part. The first song you should start at is their first official single and still one of their biggest hits, Drinking Problem.
People say I've got a drinking problem. That ain't no reason to stop.
With almost 200 million Spotify streams, it's no wonder why people like this song so much. Drinking Problem is just a silky smooth tune you can imagine being played in a hazy bar. It's timeless yet fresh and brings some playfulness with the lyrics at the end of the chorus, when Mark the lead singer says, "People say I got a drinking problem, but I got no problem drinking at all." Midland makes it easy for you to listen, and in my opinion, it's not hard not to like this song. You can't help but to sing along every time the chorus comes around.
People say I've got a drinking problem, but I've got no problem drinking it all.
Another song that I want to mention off of their debut album is the song Burnout, which is the sister song to Drinking Problem, and sets the stage for how the narrator of the song got the drinking problem in the first place. It's another silky smooth country song that's about heartbreak, watching his love burn out just like a cigarette.
Watching cigarettes burn out till all the neon gets turned out.
Burnout is my favorite music video by them, and it's definitely one of the most underrated ones across YouTube. I think it's so cool how they got this all in one take. Even though the lyrics are a bit somber, it's still a song you can grab your lover and dance just like how they do in the music video. Plus, Jess and Cameron's harmonies hit the spot. Heading into their recent discography, I can't help but to mention the track Cheatin' Songs, off their 2019 release Let It Roll. It has a groove to it in which makes you want to roll down your windows, let your hair flow as the perfect mix of electric and steel guitars take you away.
She's bringing back cheating songs.
They have a great collection of albums, including their latest release, Sonic Ranch, which is primarily an acoustic album, and it personally holds a sweet spot in my top album list. And also the album The Last Resort, which features John Party and Long Neck Way to Go, and another great one is Sunrise Tells a Story, which is one of their best written songs to this date. Midland is a great option to listen to if you want that traditional country sound with a kick of electric and steel and a full band to bring you back a few decades. For our next artist, we're heading farther south into San Benito, Texas. The man who can truly do it all, from blues to folk.
It was the time of the cottonwood trees.
To music that you would think would be in a true Western film.
Just like that horse steady running down the track. You know I won't be coming back.
Charley Crockett.
Hello, I'm Charley Crockett.
Welcome to Hard Time.
Charley's story is as interesting as anyone's. When he was in his younger days, he played music on the subways and on the streets in different cities like New York, New Orleans, and even in Paris, France. He hitchhiked around for almost 10 years and even got a record deal on the subway in New York City, but ultimately turned them down due to Sony wanting to package him into something that he's not.
I wasn't gonna be packaged, and I couldn't have handled it even if I wanted to be packaged. I couldn't have handled it.
Since 2015, Charley's put out over a dozen records, which is just a crazy number to see, but not sacrificing quality on each one. On his earlier albums, you would get the bluesier side of him, but as we come to the modern day, most of his work is mainly country and western, with mixed elements of blues. An example of this bluesier side is from his 2021 release Music City, USA, with the song I Need Your Love.
I need your love, pretty darling. I've got to have all of your love.
You can see yourself dancing to this with your lady on your wedding day, with its use of horns, electric guitar, and its sweeping sounds as they take you away. On the other hand, from the same record, we have Round This World, a song that screams old school western that will get your heart beating faster and make you want to run through a wall.
I'm going around this world, going round it, pretty girl.
One album of his that I always go back to is Welcome to Hard Times, and personally, this is my favorite side of Charley, as he calls it on the album, a mix of golf and western. This whole album is definitely cinematic in the way that a movie is. Throughout the album, I feel like Charley is portraying an outlaw character on the run as he goes through different trials and tribulations, with each song telling its story. One song in particular that's on the album, and also a song Willie Nelson did, was Blackjack County Chain, a song where a group of prisoners are on the chain gang and are finally able to break free and kill the sheriff. I love that these old school western songs are getting revived and being recorded from fresh and new artists of today's world. To me, Western AF's performance of this was just great.
Heaven help me to forget that night in the cold, cold rain, when we beat 'em to death with the 35 pounds of Blackjack County chain.
Wrapping up the album and the last song is The Poplar Tree, where Charley meets his fate as he gets into a fight with a group of men, but they're eventually able to capture and hang him from the poplar tree, simultaneously realizing that he'll never be able to be with the woman he loves. It's kind of a somber way to end the album, but if you're into storytelling songs like these, Charley is for you.
They won't listen to me. I'm just gonna stay right here under the poplar tree.
Most recently, he put out an album titled The Man from Waco, which is another record that has western influences, a mix of blues and traditional country aspects. A few of the ones that I think you guys would like would be Black Sedan, I'm Just a Clown, The Man from Waco, and Just Like Honey. I can't wait to see what Charley does moving forward, and he's finally gaining the recognition that he deserves.
My name's Charley Crockett. We'll see you next time.
Alright, we've gone our rounds through Texas, but now we're heading east to the Appalachian Mountains. We would do ourselves a disservice if we didn't start this category than none other than himself, Sturgill Simpson.
Well, I've been spending all my money on weed and pills, trying to write a song that'll pay the bills, but it ain't came yet. Guess I have to rob a bank.
Sturgill Simpson was born in Jackson, Kentucky, and arguably led the charge for many musicians coming out of the Appalachian states, like Kentucky and West Virginia, in today's country movement of the early 2010s and 2020s. With an outlaw swagger to him like Waylon Jennings and Merle Haggard, it's not hard to see why so many people fell in love with him when he first got started, and still to this day. He has a type of warmth to his voice that's just really easy to listen to, and honestly sounds so effortless for him with each song. After being in the Navy, waiting tables at IHOP, playing in another band, and working at Union Pacific Railroad, he ended up going solo and dropping his debut album High Top Mountain, produced by Dave Cobb. Two notable songs off of the album Life Isn't Fair and The World Is Mean and You Can Have the Crown rose to popularity with listeners and are still some of the trademark songs you would associate with the outlaw movement across the Appalachian music scene.
Oh, that label man said, son, now can you sing a little bit more clear? Said your voice might be too country next to what they've been here. Can you sing a little more about outlaws and the way things used to be? Said you just worry about writing them songs, leave everything else to me.
For me, I automatically know it's a Sturgill song from this era just by the use of steel guitar that he incorporates in each song, and it's still some of my favorites from him. You might even remember Post Malone covering You Can Have the Crown in a live stream with Dwight Yoakam's band. It didn't take long for Sturgill to get nationwide attention for his second album, Meta Modern Sounds in Country Music, as this would be the project he was nominated for his first Grammy. The opening track, Turtles All the Way Down, sets the record off with a warm but psychedelic twist, with its comforting and pleasant acoustic sound, but interesting lyrics that had listeners and journalists trying to figure out hidden meanings.
Met the devil in Seattle, spent 9 months inside the lion's den.
Sturgill addressed the meaning of the song right before he played it on the NPR Tiny Desk series, and a funny remark right here. Take a look.
Actually, just about every journalist so far that I've read has talked about this song, but I don't think anybody's ever really nailed down what it's actually about. It's actually all about drugs. And some other stuff, mostly drugs, right?
After Turtles All the Way Down, he comes out swinging with his song Life of Sin and gives you that rambling man energy. Electric guitar and Sturgill's confident vocals carry the song, and you automatically feel a boost of confidence and adrenaline run through your veins. Throughout the following years, he would eventually win his first Grammy on his album Call to Arms and experiment with different sounds like psychedelic rock in 2019, and can be found on some pop tracks to this day. Some of my personal favorites of Sturgill is when he released Cutting Grass Volumes 1 and 2, where he did bluegrass interpretations of some of his past recorded music. Some of the songs that I really enjoy are I Don't Mind and Oh Sarah, which is some of his most beautiful work. The fiddle hits just right in those songs.
That I feel in your arms.
Lastly, he put out a concept album, The Ballad of Dude and Juanita. All I can say is this album definitely takes you on a journey, and it's one that you really have to do from start to finish. The Cliff Notes version is Juanita, which is Dude's wife, is captured by a group of bandits. Dude brings his mule and dog with him to go and save her. Along the way, he goes through different trials, but ultimately gets her back. Throughout the album, you really get some bluegrass elements mixed in with traditional country, and even some Spanish elements in the song Juanita, with Willie Nelson playing the guitar.
Juanita, when I found you, I was at my end.
One song that has gained popularity is the song Sam, which is Dude's dog on the album. Along the journey, Sam ends up dying, and Sturgill does an a cappella tune to commemorate his beloved hound. Guys, I have tears in my eyes every time.
He loved howling at the moon, he loved treeing that raccoon. Most of all, he's my best friend, he's gone too soon.
Some say Sturgill passed the torch to our next artist on the list, and that is none other than Kentucky native Tyler Childers. If someone says they're getting into country music, I always point them in the direction of Tyler, just because his music is so easy to listen to. Whether it be songs like Lady May or Shake the Frost, which is a little bit more slower and romantic, or songs with a little bit more grit and attitude, like White House Road and Nose on the Grindstone. There's music in his catalog for everyone. I actually just did a documentary on him and the upcomings of his career, so definitely check that out if you get a chance. Tyler has put out work since the early 2010s, but I really consider his debut album Purgatory, which was released in 2017. On Purgatory, he chose Dave Ferguson and, you guessed it, Sturgill Simpson as his producers. They hit the jackpot on a lot of these songs, like Feathered Indians and the ones we mentioned earlier, Lady May and White House Road. Feathered Indians automatically hooks you in as you hear the warm acoustic guitar riff in this track. The lyrics are personal and sincere, and it was really just a great tune to springboard Tyler's music career.
There are little feathered Indians where we tussle through the night.
I know people that aren't necessarily into country music, but they still know and like this song. One of my friends showed it to me in college, and the rest is history. Lady May is a sweet love song he wrote for his wife Sonora May, and can be found in a lot of wedding receptions as the couple does their first dance.
But I'm baptized in your name, lovely Lady May.
Next, we have White House Road, which is a song that's a little bit more rough, to say the least. Centered around the story of drugs and alcohol addiction, people in the song want him to get clean, but White House Road gives and feeds him that kind of lifestyle. Even though the subject matter is bold, boy does this song get you going. Your adrenaline spikes and makes you want to turn the song all the way up. It's only appropriate you listen at full blast.
Lord, it's a mighty hard living, but a damn good feeling to run these roads.
Going into the future, he released Country Squire in 2019, continuing his momentum and success. The title track, Country Squire, is a classic country tune with great energy as the instruments get you going. But it also has great storytelling as well, which is really what country music is all about.
Dream about the day that I sit by the fire, huddle with my honey in a country squire.
What really blew up on the record is the song All Yourn, with its noticeable piano used throughout the tune. It has a certain groove to it that makes you feel happy and almost like you're running through an open field, kind of like how they do in the music video. While Purgatory and Country Squire have become fan favorites, he just released Can I Take My Hounds to Heaven in the fall of 2022, with its old school church sound that makes you feel like you're sitting in the pews of an old-time country church. One of my favorites just has to be Way of the Triune God, even compared to his older discography. The passion he has and even the look in his eyes just makes the performance that much more convincing and enjoyable.
I don't need the pills you take just to feel the spirit moving, brother.
There's songs on here that you can listen and appreciate even if you didn't grow up in church and have the same background as Tyler. Finally, we have a wildcard spot, and that is with the unique and diverse talents of Sierra Farrell. Hailing from West Virginia, she has blends of folk and country and even bluegrass, but also a jazzy type of New Orleans sound that I can't quite put my finger on. There's honestly no other person that I think sounds like her, and that's what makes her so special.
I hope I'm in your dreams the way you are in all of mine.
You might recognize her from her Gems on VHS session she did a few years back that recently resurfaced through trending audio through Instagram Reels and TikToks, which she rightfully so deserved as it's just a beautiful song. This song really doesn't need anything else, as Sierra's voice and the memorable opening guitar riff she plays is a match made in heaven, but she recently released it with a full backing band, which gives the song a new perspective. I honestly love both versions.
I'm in your dreams the way you are in all of mine.
She's also made countless appearances on Western AF's YouTube channel with one of her songs, Bells of Every Chapel, which is also on her new album. Someone mentioned in the comments that she sounds like a country star from 75 years ago, and I would have to agree, but she adds an element of her own talents to make things fresh.
I swear the bells in every chapel, they were ringing the day that I met you.
But sometimes she shows off her uniqueness by showing you that she can switch it up with the New Orleans jazzy sound that I spoke about earlier. Some songs of this style include Why'd You Do It and The Sea.
Don't be afraid of the darkness, nor don't be ashamed of the light.
I don't even know if I'd call it a jazz sound, but the best way to describe it is a New Orleans style. I heard that she spent some time living down there, so it's cool to know that she's fused different styles of music with the places that she's lived. The way she delivers her lyrics in these songs makes it so intriguing and you just want to listen even closer. Like I said earlier, I don't know any country artists that are incorporating the style of music in their songs, and that's why I had to put Sierra as a wild card. My recommendation is to start off with her album Long Time Coming and listen to In Dreams, Jeremiah, and Silver Dollar. And also check out a few of her singles with her tribute to John Anderson.
You gotta let 'em go and they kinda roll by like tears.
And also her being featured in Margot Price's Change of Heart. Sierra is pretty much getting started in her music career and she has a promising future for sure. So there you have it. My artists that if you're just fed up with mainstream country radio, these are the ones you should listen to. But if I didn't include one of your favorite artists, make sure you drop them in the comments below so other people can check them out. But right now we're gonna be doing a rapid fire round of artists that I did not mention in this video, so here we go. We have Billy Strings, Zach Bryan, Pony Bradshaw, Flatland Cavalry, Cole Chaney, Haley Witters, Lainey Wilson, Caitlin Butts, 49 Winchester, Charles Wesley Godwin, and so many more guys. So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, please click like and subscribe if you want to join an awesome community of country music fans and folk music lovers on this channel. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will see you in my next one.